Yeah. Everybody's becoming nice and quiet, so this is the time to start the meeting, I think, so. All right, tonight's our regular town board meeting, August 14th, 2025. If you would, please rise.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Now we'll move right into the business, the minutes of the previous meeting. May I have a motion to approve them, or?
I'll make a motion to approve, and I also would like to offer some amendments to those minutes that were submitted by the town clerk.
Amendments to last month,
Yes, July 10th.
July 10th, 2000.
Here are the amendments that,
And the board has seen them, right?
yes,
Board, is there, you saw Jim's suggested amendments to the last board meeting minutes. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'll second the motion to amend it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Why don't we,
Supervisor, I think the better practice, after you amend the minutes, is to go forward and have a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
oh, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
I'll offer it.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is why we have the town attorney sitting next to me. Used to be out in the audience. All right, thank you. Let's jump way out of line here, and I'd like to ask for a report from our Brunswick Community Library young lady, Sarah. I'm gonna get you right on, get you out of here. I want to tip that thing down.
Thank you so much. Oh, that is taller than me. Okay, so in July, we had 3,027 visitors. We answered 465 reference questions. 188 people used our Wi-Fi with an average of 20 unique people per day using it. Our study spaces were used 545 times. Our tech was used 104 times. And our items were checked out 7,749 times. Our programs, which had a huge program list, were attended 1,631 times. Tamarack School, this is the first time that I've gotten to get in and meet every single grade for elementary school this year, and that really helped boost our attendance. We are still continuing summer reading through the end of August, so kids can still come in and get prizes. Even if they haven't signed up yet, they can still sign up and get some encouragement to finish their school assignments before the end of summer. We are doing a school supply drive for Tamarack School while their entrance is under construction. That's going to go on until September 2nd. Donations can be dropped off right at our library during open hours. They need notebooks, pens, pencils, folders, crayons, markers, glue sticks, etc. There is more information on their website, brunswickcsd.org. And we also are having our children's clothing swap. It is tomorrow from 2 to 6 and Saturday from 10 to 2. This is from infancy all the way through elementary school age children. Any children who are thrown out of clothes, we ask that people donate them. And then all of the donated clothes are free for community members to take to help get our kids ready for the school year. Any leftovers are donated to St. Pauli's at the end of the swap. But it's just a really nice way to make sure that all of our kids are prepared and ready for school and comfortable. We also wanted to thank the Troy Savings Bank Charitable Foundation. We just got approved for an AED grant by them. Staff will be getting AED training in October, and we therefore we have an AED for our library. Coming up, aside from the children's clothing swap, we do have on August 18th, we have Nature Play with Miss Heather, and on August 20th, we have Herb Club coming in to teach people about growing and using herbs and herbal essential oils in the home. If anybody has questions, please let me know, and I will see everybody at our clothing swap.
You said it's tomorrow or Saturday?
It's both days.
Okay.
We're trying to hit as many people as possible, so we have both Friday and Saturday. It's 2 to 6 on Friday and 10 to 2 on Saturday. Anyone who has clothes, shoes, backpacks, anything of that nature to donate, we would love to get them. And then anyone you know who has children, get them into our library. We get a lot of beautiful donations to help prep them for the school year. Really nice stuff. And it's all free to anybody who's using it. So, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sam.
Entertain a motion to approve our library report.
I'll make it. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, town clerk, Rebecca.
The clerk's office total income for July is $10,773.85. $2,566.08 in fees are being paid back to the Department of Health, Ag and Markets, DEC, and the New York State Comptroller's Office. $8,207.77 will be remitted to the Supervisor's Office. Revenue totals includes $4,676 from recycling sales, $1,665 from rental fees. There was 9 community center reservations, 334 dog licenses, 5 original, 49 renewals, $1,532.77 from miscellaneous, which includes $307.50 from Vital Statistics, $425 from Easy Pass tags. We sold 17. $350 in peddler's license, $42.85 from bingo proceeds, $3 in foil fees, $312 from summer youth program, and $92.42 was our DEC commission from sales of $2,305.58. The town beach closes on Tuesday, August 26th for the 2025 season. The town has also recently changed their town website's address to brunswickny.gov. You will be redirected. The Household Hazardous Waste Day is September 20th. You must sign up to participate. There is a link on the website for registration. The clerk's office will be open this Saturday for business, August 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Anyone interested in working the general election on Tuesday, November 4th, please reach out. You can either call the office or email townclerk@townofbrunswick.org.
Quick question, for the election inspectors, how that, I should know, it keeps changing, how that work these days? Do you pick the potential and then send it to the county, or?
Sort of. I mean, I don't pick, they usually call us and ask if they
People
want to
call.
work. Mm-hmm.
I know that the county kind of took it over, right?
No,
For
they don't.
election.
Typically, they do not schedule it.
Okay.
It's always been technically the Republican committee schedules Republicans and the Democrats schedule Democrats. But it's a lot of it is people call saying I'd like to work, and we put them on the list, make sure they get their training, and then
Okay.
that's it.
Couldn't, things change here. I knew the county was involved at some point. All right, thank you. All right, entertain a motion to approve, town clerk report.
I'll make it.
Or second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Highway Department, Mr. Bailey? How you doing, Michael? You look a little tired here. Good month?
You're in your nickels this month.
All right, I thought so.
Well, we had a pretty busy month. We had 5 major things going on. We picked up brush for 10 days. So we had milling and paving going on during the month. And then Kevin went out with a crew ditching on a lot of different roads. And while all that was going on, we had 3 men out mowing all the time, the ball fields, roadsides, knocking the brush back. It seems like the brush all jumped about 3 foot out of the roads this year. The crew, I can't compliment them enough. They stopped picking brush up this afternoon, tomorrow. They put on the tailgates and go pick up blacktop for paving. Then they go to the next project. They do it so quick and easy. Kevin and the crew are to be complimented for their ability to change gears so quick. Now to the dirty details. Brush pickup. We had 7 men for 10 days doing it because we were doing gravel roads at the end of last month. And we did brush just at the beginning of this paper report. And I'm just finishing brush now. So it's 10 days of brush and leaf pickup. Paving, we had 9 men for 5 days, paving all the different roads. I gave you a list of it. I don't need to run through the list, most of you should know that. The work was fantastic. We have had 0 phone calls as far as problems from the paving. Mr. Del Signo did a wonderful job paving. The roads he did, I don't know how he did them. He didn't get more trouble from it. It just, there's the contours and everything, trying to keep the water moving in the right directions. Then we had backing up the blacktop, going cleaning up after the paver, putting a little topsoil and grass seed. We had 9 men for 2 days doing that. Ditching, we had 3 men for 6 days doing that. They were on Smith Hill and Menemsha, Deerstein, and on Flower Road. Sweeping, I had 1 man for 2 days, and then we finished up the gravel roads. I had 11 men for 1 day doing the gravel roads, which we were doing last month. We just were finishing it. Patching, I had 5 men for 4 days patching, running around catching up on potholes and patching. And then recycling, I had 1 man for 3 days, either taking paper down or metal down or emptying recycling bins. But seems like it's part of the recycling program now. About 2 or 3 days a month we have to do that. Shop work, we had 5 men for 3 days. Roadside mowing, 1 man for 9 days. Doing the ball fields, we had 1 man for 14 days. And then we've been out with the long arm mower trying to knock our trees back so they're not knocking mirrors off the trucks. And that was 2 men for 7 days doing that so far. Banners, 2 men for 1 day, picking up bags, 2 men for 6 days. We tried to fix a little drainage problem over on Oxford Road, put in a culvert over there to see if we can make a few homeowners happy with the drainage. And then we went out fixing catch basins that were needed repair. That was 3 men for a day doing that. That's my report. I'd also like to thank the water crew. With all these roads, they go and they put all the extensions on the covers and all the valve boxes, which it just takes one more thing off of our plate. And they do a great job of it. Sometimes they're working their tail off to have to dig down and get everything raised to the right height for the blacktop. Water crew just do it without even asking. And, I don't have to go back and look. It's just done.
Good job, Bill, doing your crew. Thank you, Mike.
It's all them, it's not me.
I know that. I'm trying to help you, buddy. Entertain a motion for Mr. Bailey.
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bill, Water Department.
My only job is to leave you with people that are competent and can get the job done. So that's my goal.
You getting a meeting soon?
Well, the water and sewer report for July 2025. Well, I guess I'd probably start with this, going above and beyond. The town historian had a little carfunkel the other day, and that there was a bat in the toilet.
Oh, no, I didn't hear about this.
So as with
This is kind of important.
So as with, everything being wet, I get thrown at, if it's not water involved, then they call Bill. Right? So I was.
Was it toilet?
Yes, there was a toilet involved. So I was asked if I would want to proceed with an adventure that day, and I do not know the name of the woman.
Well, we might want to leave her name out of this.
Was very surprised to find that there was a bat in the toilet, so let's just leave it at that.
Wow.
So went over there and took the bat out of the toilet and released it to the wild, so, there we go.
There you go.
Was it alive?
Yeah, it's very much alive. I think maybe you went in to get a drink or something and just couldn't figure anything about echolocation in the toilet. Going around and around. Anyhow, there we go.
That's cheaper. Well, since they're on payroll, we could call a plumber.
So, Norfolk Avenue is ready to be open. The guide rails were installed today. I got to talk to the project manager from Reichenberg to see if they can, pick up the signs and everything else and get that opened by the weekend.
Excellent.
Unless, of course, you can do a ribbon cutting or something like that. Just open
You
it
know
up.
me, I'm not a PR.
Just get it open. All right. So there's still, the project's not 100% complete. We still have to do some other drain work and everything else like that, but it's coming close to completion, but the road will be open. The sewer lift station down at Walmart, we promised a 4-month delivery, but these days that date's not going to be met, and I'm still actually waiting for an absolute confirmed delivery date, which I've been promised for several weeks now, and they haven't gotten it. So just, I guess people who are working are very busy, in these factories and everything else. There's just not enough people to get the work done.
Bill, are they very specific for certain volumes and that kind of thing? I mean, I'm wondering if, what I'm getting at is, kind of a couple towns or a few towns go in and buy a spare?
Everyone is unique to a particular situation. They cut the impellers, certain towns want certain designs. And
Okay.
so everyone is engineered to a specific situation. We've been working with the building department and the contractor to address, this is the contractor on site down at Marie's Muse to address some groundwater issues there to ensure that, there's not potential for, future frost heaving or anything else like that. I think we've come up with some good solutions in cooperation with the contractor and the builder down there to address those groundwater, because it's been as dry as it's been, there's a continuous flow of water going onto that site. So I think it's being surcharged by there was a pond at the top of that hill. I think it's just the water working its way down to the shale from that hillside. And just because it's not stopped since they started. So. The water bills will go out next week. The water department has been repairing hydrants, doing meter replacements. The hydrants that we've been working on are the ones during the spring flushing that we did that we found that were not, some of the older ones that weren't working correctly. Sometimes they need to move traffic flanges, things of that sort. So been doing that in anticipation. We only flushed half the system in the spring. We're going to flush the other half of the system in probably later September timeframe before we use it. We've been hitting record numbers with the pumping down to the pump station. We've also, I don't know that it's hit a record in 93 days, but it's been very dry, so there's a lot of water pumping going on. Post and Kill has a little bit of an issue where higher than normal, they're looking for a leak in their system. That's like another, 30,000 gallons a day or so, of course, we're gonna pay for transporting it, but it's just puts a strain on our system. So, if these kind of events, years, the climate weather continues this way, we're reaching pretty much our maximum pumping capacity down there. We don't have a whole lot more capacity in the system. We got about another, collectively, we can pump maybe about another 300,000 gallons of water. We're peaking out on those pumps. One day the pumps ran almost a full 24 hours. It's a big deal. Travel Unlimited, with the assistance of the town of Brunswick, the highway superintendent Mike Bailey and Councilman Mark Sipoli, they were awarded a grant for $180,000 to repair a culvert that goes underneath Sweet Mill Creek, about a mile and a half off Sweet Mill Creek, to improve trout habitat there. And it's a nice award because that now comes out of, it's not something that needs to be replaced, but it's not going to come out of our budget. So it's going to be done by grants.
Nice.
So that's all I got, unless you got questions.
How's the water quality coming out of Troy, with the heat and lack of rain and
It's
we've had
actually-
problems?
It's actually been fairly good, actually. Yeah, they jumped on things early in the springtime. We had some conversations and everything else, and so they started some pre-treatment work and everything else early on. So I think they caught most of that, and they've been staying on top of it. They're doing a good job this year.
Bill, how are they getting ready to water down that job site? I mean, I'm not seeing mud in the road or anything.
It's it's going underground.
Okay.
There's we have a conversation with the contractor down there. He's using a system he shouldn't be using, so we'll take care of that shortly.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the bill's report. Is that a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Kevin Manello. Superintendent of Utilities and Inspection. I'm gonna change that title. Department head.
Well, we're not chasing fast, but we're chasing roosters.
Yeah, you got the chickens.
We got 2 last month, so we got a couple more to find. All right, so our report for July 2025, we've got 63 building and property inspections, 391 active building permits, 29 permits issued or renewed, we had 10 meetings, 2 planning board meetings, 1 zoning board meeting, 2 fire inspections. We had 3 code complaints, which we inspected, 1 code complaint, call inspection, as well as a vacant property inspection. We had 7 planning board projects or agendas, 4 zoning board projects or agendas, and Monday working on 9 board requests. As Bill had mentioned, the Reason News project is progressing. We got the foundation, putting a foundation board for the Chipotle. We'll be backfilling that probably starting in this week or next week, and we'll be pouring, we've got the footing support for the mattress store, we'll be pouring balance on the walls for the foundation next week. So that's progressing. Well, Bill has been helping with some groundwater still there. It's a very wet site. It's going to be interesting moving forward when we go to the underground storage for stormwater. So stay tuned, Rick.
Kevin, you mentioned me, these homes they're building these days aren't the old time
Yeah.
stick building homes, right?
Yeah, we're
When you come in to see you, they're pretty
struggling
challenging.
with some framing issues we're coming across. Some of these elaborate homes, some of these homes that are being built in our town are north of $1 million.
The homes itself are over a
And
million.
they're not your normal colonial ranch. They're very exotic roof framings. Rooms built into the roofs, a lot of roof angles, a lot of vaulted ceilings, a lot of exotic trusses and bearing beams. So it's, we're catching some issues with the help of Russ Reed for getting them corrected before they get covered up. Yeah.
Okay, entertain a motion for Kevin's report.
Second.
Pick somebody. All in favor?
Aye.
Town historian, Tracy. We already heard about the VAT, so leave that out.
Did it get additional fees?
was doing backstroke?
I don't know what I was doing. I didn't look.
We just dialed 911. Bradley.
No, we had a bee issue today. Poor Rodney got stung. Mowing the lawn, there was a ground hornet's nest right by the fountain. Yesterday was bats, today's bees. So,
Ouch.
yeah, you're not kidding. Good evening. So over the past month, I've been researching two local families, the Links and the McGraths. The former home of Birdwell Lake was sold not too long ago, and the new residents were curious about its history and asked if I could find out more about the family who once lived there. So here's just a little bit of what I have found out so far. As Mr. Lake was born in Brunswick in 1825, and he lived there his entire life. He married Fanny Coonrod, and together they raised 6 children. The family made their home at the corner of Hakes and Moonlawn, where Mr. Lake worked as a farmer on 82 acres of land. And according to the 1880 farm census, that year he produced 100 bushel of corn, 1,000 bushel of potatoes, 500 pounds of butter, and 40 tons of hay, which I can name.
That's a lot of work.
So, and as coincidence as this is, I was contacted by a family member of the McGrath family who lived at the Link Farm. Kathleen McGrath, many people know that she was a longtime board member. She's looking to reach out to her family members to kind of reconnect. And I thought that's pretty crazy because we're talking the same location. So yes. So in addition to that, I am continuing to work on a special project for next year in honor of the country's 250th anniversary, which will highlight our local veterans. It's still in the research phase, so if anyone has family members who've served, I'd be happy to include them in the new exhibit. And in addition, I've been digging into the history of the men from Brunswick who served during the Revolutionary War. One of the more prominent men that I looked into was Major Flores Banker. He was born in 1741 and passed away in 1821 at the age of 80. He was one of the early settlers in Brunswick and lived on Gypsy Lane. Banker was the very first supervisor of the town of Brunswick and served as a major in the Revolutionary War. He led the 7th Company of the 6th Regiment of the Albany Volunteer Militia under Colonel Stephen Schuyler. After the war, he was granted a piece of land near Gold Mountain by the government as a thank you for his service. Another man is Adam Bean. He was born in 1726 and passed in 1802. He served in the French and Indian War before taking up arms again in the Revolutionary War. Bean was a local farmer here in Brunswick. Interestingly, he played a small but curious role in a bit of spy history. He once gave a ride in his wagon to a man headed to Bennington who turned out to be Dr. George Smith, a British spy. Smith was organizing loyalist raids on farms and sending the stolen military secrets to generals in Canada. And the last one I have looked into, well, there's many, the last one for tonight is Abner Roberts. And he was born in 1730 and died in August of 1777. He lived in Center Brunswick and served as an officer in the Continental Army. Sadly, he was killed while returning from Lansingburg. He was attacked on what was then known as the Stone Road, today Hoosick Road, near Sickaway. A band of Tory raiders ambushed him and scalped and killed him, and his body was found several days later. That is a little rough. Rough back then. So the research on the Revolutionary War is just going to be an ongoing project because next year is the big 250th. So those are just a few I thought I'd mention tonight.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, entertain a motion for Tracy's report.
I'll make it.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Why don't we go right into the resolutions, please?
Resolution number 57 of 2025, resolution and order establishing an ambulance tax district in the town of Brunswick.
I'll offer. I'll second.
The foregoing resolution has been offered by Councilman Balistrary and seconded by Councilman Sipperly. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly.
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
Resolution is adopted.
Mark, you want to comment on this at all, or?
Yeah, this has been a project that's been being worked on for a while. I want to thank all the folks that have been involved, the Town of Brunswick Public Safety Committee, some here tonight. I see Sue, Jack, and Paul. The town residents were involved in this process the whole way, which was great. A lot of folks spoke at the public hearing, and everybody has been working on this together, which is great. Councilman Sickerly also for helping organize the Public Safety Committee and working on this project with me. And also our town board members, Sullivan, Christian, and Supervisor Harrington for supporting this effort, and Mr. Gruenberg for helping with all the paperwork. So it was a team effort, a great example of how town government listens to issues raised by the public and officials and residents. We did our homework. We worked on it as a team, all of us. It was great. We came up with a solution that works better and provides better public safety for the town of Brunswick folks. As most of you know, this is not just a town of Brunswick problem. It spans across the state and even across the country. So hopefully we're building something here which can create a template that others can use to help improve their public safety in their areas as well. So thank you to all of you here that helped get this across the finish line.
Now, can I ask you the next step? Is that fair?
I believe the next step would be that we would put out an RFP and see what kind of response we get back from that. And then we would work towards negotiating a contract to have a dedicated ambulance in Brunswick. And then I believe we're trying to shoot for January 1st of 2026 to start with. So we have time to get it across the line there. So, of course, I'm going to work with Dave to make sure that we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, and filing all the paperwork we need to make sure we do it right. So,
Excellent. Thank you. Moving ahead. Okay, very good.
Resolution number 58 of 2025, resolution declaring items to be surplus property.
At this point in time, I'd like to add 2016 Dodge 5500 somewhere. It got missed in the frame. This needs to be added to the list of surplus.
All right, I'll offer it.
I'll second.
The foregoing resolution has been offered by Supervisor Harrington and seconded by Councilman Christian with the addition of a 2016 Dodge 5500.
I think you should just move to amend it, vote on the amendment, and then do a set. I'm going to make a damn about it.
Yeah.
Move to amend it, carry the amendment, then vote on the full amendment, the resolution is amended.
I can make a motion to move ahead with the amendment, the addition.
Yeah.
I made the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then a motion on the resolution.
Amended.
As amended.
We gotta read the roll call again, or?
We haven't done that.
Yeah.
We haven't done that. We still just need a motion now for the amendment.
I'll make a
resolution.
motion to pass the resolution as amended.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. The foregoing amended resolution has been offered by Councilman Balistrary and seconded by Councilman Sipperly. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly.
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
The amended resolution is adopted.
Give me a little more room down there, Mike. Other bay.
Resolution number 59 of 2025, resolution scheduling a public hearing on a proposed franchise agreement between the town and Spectrum Northeast LLC, a subsidiary of Charter Communications Incorporated, on a proposed franchise agreement for cable television service.
I'll offer it.
I'll second.
The foregoing resolution has been offered by Councilman Sullivan and seconded by Councilman Christian. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly.
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
This resolution is adopted. Resolution number 60 of 2025, resolution honoring Paul Richardson for 50 years of service to the Mountain View Fire Department.
I'll offer it.
I'll second it.
The foregoing resolution has been offered by Councilman Christian and seconded by Supervisor Harrington. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly.
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
This resolution is adopted.
Hey, Paul, I can't let you go on this easy. Come on up to that microphone. 50 years, I mean, I gotta say more than this, so. We had an idea Paul might be here tonight, so as you mentioned, Public Safety Committee, I just want to read this resolution out loud. Resolution honoring Paul Richardson for 50 years of service to the Mountain View Fire Department. Whereas it is fitting for the town board, the town of Brunswick, to honor residents who have contributed to the safety and well-being of the town, particularly in a volunteer capacity. Whereas Paul Richardson joined the Mountain View Fire Department as a volunteer in 1975. 1940, so you got 51 years. That's my math.
It's actually 51.
That's your chief sent this already on something. And now has served 51 years as a volunteer in the Worthy organization. Whereas during his service with that department, he came up through the ranks as a lieutenant, a captain, and assistant chief. And whereas therefore, Paul Richardson became the chief of the department and served in that capacity for a number of years. Whereas during his tenure with the organization, he has served on many committees, has been a member of the board of directors for many years, currently serves as chairman of the board of directors. Whereas in addition to his service in Mountain View, he also served on the Rensselaer County Fire Advisory Board. Whereas throughout his dedicated service as a volunteer in the above position, he has served and protected the safety of all our residents of the town of Brunswick. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Brunswick Town Board recognizes and commends Paul Richardson for many years of dedicated service to the people of our town, and further resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to forward a copy of this resolution to Paul Richardson. And maybe a round of applause for this gentleman. What do you think, buddy?
And I, just to say quick, and work with Mark, Jack, forever, and it's been an honor, it's been a pleasure. Except for a few bad things I'd like to forget.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, yes. We're gonna dress this up for you a little bit, but I feel like I gotta give something to you. We're gonna put a nice stamp on that, make it look a little bit better for you.
Oh, thank you.
Over the years, as you know, I've been around a little bit. Whenever you go to Mountain View Firehouse, it seems like Paul usually there planting flowers, correct? Not shy to ask it for the town's help. A little slippery over here. Mowing the lawn, plus when the alarm goes off. So it's 50 years is a long time, volunteer service, and we sincerely appreciate it. So thank you, my friend. Okay, what else we got?
Resolution number 61 of 2025, resolution urging the state of New York to take all required steps necessary to preserve the Martin Dunham Reservoir and Dam in Grafton Lake State Park.
I'll offer that. I'll second it.
The foregoing resolution has been offered by Councilman Sipperly and seconded by Councilman Balistrary. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly.
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
And Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
This resolution is adopted.
Who forwards this to the appropriate parties? Town clerk, so you send to the governor and Office of Parks and all that. Okay, good.
Okay. You got any old business? Any new business? I know our Rensselaer County Sheriff's gonna be taking the stage at next Tuesday's summer concert series. He's only doing about 2 a year, and we've got it in Brunswick, so if you wanna come out and see this guy, still got a voice, you're welcome to join the summer concert, see our own Rensselaer County Sheriff performing. All right, warrants?
Bare bones.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, comments from visitors. Well, anybody want to step up? Come on up. Oh, you're okay.
Good evening, thank you. So I'm Ellen Montiel. I live on McChesney Avenue Extension for the past 20 years. I usually refer to my house as either the house formerly belonging to Don and Dorothy McChesney or the house on the dangerous curve. But I'd like to keep it that way. I really don't want to add the house across the street from the power plant to the list. The proposed project, just as a review, is 511 McChesney Avenue Extension. The developer is CDE. It is proposed to be a 16,000 solar panels, 7 megawatts of energy, which is a power plant. Over 5 megawatts of energy makes it a power plant. As I just recently came to learn, the maximum amount of megawatts you can have in a parcel is 5. They originally wanted to do 10. For a variety of reasons, they've changed it to 7.5. And they're doing that by subdividing the 99-acre parcel into 2. So they'll have 5 megawatts being produced on one parcel and 2.5 produced on the parcel right next to it. I guess apparently you can only do that, that's legal, but that just doesn't seem right. It's supposed to be 5 per parcel. And this is 7. Yes, there technically would be different parcels, but they'll be right next to each other. So in addition to all of the other issues that I and others have brought up, that's skirting the law. I'm sure it's legal or it wouldn't have been done and it wouldn't be talked about, but that's really putting 7.5 on one parcel because they're going to be next to each other. It's not 5 over here and 2.5 over there. It's 7.5 right together. So that's too many. And I know, again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak again, and I know that you're not all directly involved in denying the application, but I do appreciate your time as our town leaders to hear from me. I just wanted to give you a brief update on the opposition to the project. We do have over 150 signs that residents have requested to put on their property. A nice man from the town, who I unfortunately did not get his name, came by the other day to let me know about the mowing. So I could take care of the signs that may be in areas that need to be mowed. So whoever that was, I certainly thank them. I was able to reach out to everybody to say, please temporarily make sure your sign isn't in an area that typically gets mowed. So I really appreciate that.
That you, Michael? All right, I'm thinking he's out home, he might have said something.
And we also we've had a petition going on since May. We were kind of stuck at 318 signers for a while, around 300. Actually, we have 73 new signers in the last week. I'm really not sure what happened, but momentum is still growing. It is not going away. So as I said again last time, everyone thinks it's a bad idea. Nobody has told me it's a good idea. A couple of people, aren't really opposed to it, but they certainly don't think it's a good idea. I and my husband have come across a couple of people that think nobody should be told what they can do with their property. And I don't count that either, because that's just not true. That's why we have government, to make sure that that people are not doing just whatever they want with their property. But everyone thinks it's a bad idea. I and the other supporters have been writing letters to the planning board since we can't speak. That's why I'm speaking here. And at the last planning board meeting, they mentioned our letters. They referenced them, they acknowledged that they get them, that they've read them, and even talked at length about the content of one of them that had to do with flooding, which is considered to be another major problem by us, not by the planning board, apparently, not yet anyway. But they have mentioned it. What I really wanted to talk about is, we've raised a lot of issues. I won't go into them now. I just wanted to mention just briefly the visual, because that really, when I talked to CB people in April, they acknowledged to me the biggest problem with this project is the visual. We cannot entirely screen this project. It's on a big hill in the middle of town. It's just not possible. At the 2 meetings ago, the issue was raised of the visibility of the proposed project through Route 2. So Route 2, if you don't recall, in the 2013 comprehensive plan, Route 2 was advised to be considered to be a scenic route, but it was never followed through. But the potential as a scenic route apparently struck a chord with the planning board, and there was interest in visibility from Route 2. And so CBE, who had previously said that there was really no visibility from anywhere, if you ask them. But they produced another report based on the renewed interest in, well, is it visible from Route 2 or not? And one of the, some of the comments from that report, one is Creek Road. They didn't just stick to Route 2. Creek Road, we previously discussed that only a short stretch can be seen from the site. But that is from a distance of about 2 miles, so a distant view with limited impact. There is no place to pull over to take in the view. I wrote to the planning board after the last meeting. Do we only care about the views of people driving through the town? What about the people walking? What people are riding their bikes? What about the people who live there? All they care about, and nobody's calling them out on it, is how people driving by and how long they'll have to see it. McChesney Ave Extension and Moon Lawn. We've previously shown that the site is rarely visible, except for the last 200 to 300 yards from Moon Lawn, and about the same up Moon Lawn from McChesney. So, except for the people that live right on the site, it's barely visible. Well, people live right on the site. I'm one of them. I'll be looking out from the upstairs of my house down on the solar panels. People on Moon Lawn will be looking out their backyards to the solar panels. We count. I don't care if people driving by don't, but they even will. I mean, that's so visible that I'm not even going to mention that. That's obvious. So their conclusion is the site on McChesney Ave Extension is actually remarkably well screened. The town's perception has been that it's visible from almost everywhere, but in fact, it's visible from almost nowhere. They also state there are no areas where the proposed solar system can be seen from Route 2. So, Google Earth is not my friend today, as I thought it would be. So all the pictures that CBE has submitted have been taken with the leaves on the trees. A couple of residents have retaken photos, even with the leaves on the trees, showing, here's the CBE view. Nope, can't see it. Here's the new view from the resident. You can see it right there. I mean, they're just so obviously deceptive in their photos. So I was hoping to be able to take views from winter from Google Street View, but unfortunately they had October is the least amount of leaves on the trees, at least in the views that I looked at. But I would like to just share a couple of pictures. I'm just going to kind of pass them along. My presentation skills are much better than this, but I have not had time to properly put something together. So the first one is the view from looking across Route 2 to Engels Acres. The top one is from May of 2025. All the leaves are out. The second one is October 2019. That's the year they have. And you can see, no, there are still leaves, but you can see it back there. I have question marks because it's so hard to see, because there still are leaves. But you can tell from that picture. In January, you're going to have a view. There's not no view from Route 2. Next one is Route 2 from the intersection of Moon Lawn. You can just, I'm standing across the street of Route 2. You look right across, you can see it there. Again, leaves on the trees, you can see it. From Pinewoods, they've never touched on Pinewoods. The view from Pinewoods across, on Pinewoods, looking across to Route 2, to Engels Acres, across to the site, is one of the worst. It's hard to appreciate them on small photos, but it's clearly visible right where I've indicated it, from many areas. I just picked that one spot. From Garfield Road, you can visit your loved ones and enjoy looking at the solar panels in the future. Visible from hardly anywhere. And this was half an hour of my time driving around on Sunday. Also from Garfield and Data Road corner. I mean, that is one of the worst. That's, again, and with leaves on the trees. Meadowview Road, which I guess may have to be recalled Solar View Road. This is another ridiculous view that has not been mentioned by CE. Is definitely not in their visual study. And lastly, from Data Hill Road. And this, boy, you'd see this for several minutes as you drove by. Not to mention, of course, the people that live there and that are gonna see this for a lot more time than the minute it takes to drive by. But I mean, you see the whole array will be in clear view. I'll also be putting all of these up on our website, hopefully by this weekend, along with all the other reports that are up there. And that website is nosolarmcchesney.org. One other thing that I'd asked the planning board for way back when in April was a balloon test, like they do with cell towers. I wanted them to put balloons at all 4 or more corners of the field, let everybody know, so everybody could go look out their door or drive by and see how much of it would be visible. They apparently did a balloon test, didn't tell anybody. I live across the street, I didn't even see the balloon. One balloon was spotted by somebody who let me know, and I stood out there and tried to find it, but by that time it had sunk to the ground apparently. So I still think, if this is going through, there should be a real balloon test where people can see. I mean, I spent a lot of time looking at driving around looking, but it'd be much easier if there was something, to mark at, to look at. So, as I understand it, the 511 parcel allows solar projects, commercial solar projects with a waiver or variance. I'm sorry, I keep getting those confused. And why is that? Who decided that parcel, that area, should have commercial solar allowed at all? It's the beautiful center of the historic center of town. Why? I don't know who decided that should be categorized with that use. There's only one Brunswick resident who will be happy about this project. And if the project happens, he won't even be a Brunswick resident. So why? why are the wishes of a corporation that isn't even a member of our town taken over the wishes of the entire town? One person happy, and then he'll be gone. What's needed to deny this? If everybody, again, I know I guess you can't say, but if everybody else I've talked to thinks this is a bad idea, I have to assume somewhere in your heads you think it's a bad idea too. I'm going to assume that and go, well then, what is it? What do we need to do at this point to get a variance? To cancel, to deny the variance, to stop the project? We'll do it. What happens? You just can't let this project happen. What's going to happen next? Once there are solar fields on that property, then now they can make solar fields everywhere. They can probably subdivide that parcel again in a few years and make another one right next to it because it'll be a different field. The whole field can be covered in solar panels. All the nearby farms can be covered in solar panels, because then they'll just say, oh no, we already have solar panels over there. That's part of the secret review. Now we can have more. So if you don't stop this project, we're just going to keep getting more and more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ellen, you've got pictures from Dater Hill and Garfield, and another trip for you at some point.
Mm-hmm.
On Dater Hill, where Patton's, you have a dog kennel there
Mm-hmm.
by the Rod and Gun Club. We rent that field to Patton's behind there. You can drive up, the Rod and Gun Club Road and walk out. I just suggest this to you because I was cutting hay there the other day up on top of that hill. I mean, I know that's an extreme because that's the highest point that I know, but the whole area is just laid out like a picture. I mean, you can see it, how my wife, the Pollock, who I don't think they traveled much back. How about that town story? They didn't get around much back there, right? So the Pollocks I forgot what I was going to say now. Packets, I'm sorry, Pollocks and the Packets, 20 feet. So that's Kathy's aunt married there. But what I'm saying is, when she was little, she used to go up on top of there, and you can see Albany from there. When she got a little bigger, she'd watch the fireworks and stuff. But it's just plain unbelievable. So you should drive there. I would suggest, and we were in it, so I don't think anybody's going to arrest you. Walk out in that field right to the highest point. It might depress you more because it's like the whole thing can be seen, not just the top. with the whole thing. So it's, I mean, to me, rolling hills and Brunswick, I mean, it's just, it's kind of pretty there, so.
Yeah.
One more picture for you. Okay, anybody else? Come on up.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me come up and speak. I've been working with Ellen and all of our neighbors in opposition to the solar farm. So I wanted to bring a couple of points to your attention, because I don't want this in my backyard. And I live in one of the tangent properties, so literally it will be in my backyard if it is allowed to continue. And I do understand where you guys sit, but like Ellen, we felt it was important to share some of the things we're finding. So, in my personal opinion, a developer could not have chosen a more in-your-face view site to put something like this. And through my research, I have found very few hillside, steep hillside solar farms across the country. There are a lot in China, a lot in Asia, not so many across the country. But I've done a ton of research, and I certainly do not profess to be an expert at all. But I've been trying to read and understand and share information about New York State's renewable energy mandates and precedent-setting legal cases, and then successful opposition cases, pending legislation, the local laws and zoning here in Brunswick, local laws and zoning in other New York State towns and in other nearby states. It's a lot of information, so a couple of questions have come up, and these are the questions I don't expect you to answer, but I hope you will take away the thoughts and maybe recognize that there's still time, but time is really of the essence. So one of the things I found, I did a FOIL, and I got a lot of information back. And in 2022, there was a moratorium on multifamily housing. What does this have to do with solar? I will explain, right? Through that moratorium, the reason for the moratorium was so that we, the town, could look at our current laws and zoning and make recommendations to go forward. So during that process, during that moratorium, LaBerge Engineering was hired. There was a public workshop. There was a public hearing. There were all kinds of amendments recommended as a result of that moratorium. And not all of them were adopted. I'm not questioning why, because I wasn't at any of those meetings, but I kept trying to find where everything was adopted, and it just was overlooked, and I could not find that. Then we jump ahead. We have this whole moratorium, and again, time to review local zoning and laws. And this time, in 2024, engineer Wayne Bonesteel produced a final report. It contained some of the same recommendations that LaBerge recommended. One in particular had to do with overlay zones, and through that whole conversation, there was difficulty applying them and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm not so interested in overlay zones. I'm so interested in anything that could have applied or might apply or might somehow affect this particular solar project. So I am wondering what happened to all of these zoning regulations, because they were far and wide. They were much more than just multi-housing and density. They went to, parking a tractor trailer and parking a camper and, like I said, the overlay zones and a whole bunch of changes. And the draft documents are still on the website. I was like, oh my gosh, this. When we call, we are directed to the 2017 zoning regulations. That's the name of the file. That's the document. But the LaBerge guys prepared a whole 2022 version of that. which was never implemented. And was that an oversight? Did we forget, or was it just really not relevant? And again, because there are things in there that I feel could have applied to solar, and specifically this project, I wanted to just throw the question out there. There's new legislation coming, and a couple weeks ago, I sent out an email to the town, and that was a copy of this Senate bill. It's going to be on the floor this next session. And this Senate bill specifically addresses these smaller scale solar farms. And I mean, I don't really consider 16,000 panels small, but by NYSERDA standard, it's not really relevant until it's over 25. So 5 and 7, they don't have, none of the laws apply to the 5 kilowatt megawatt farms. They're all about the big ones. But this new legislation is about the small ones. And it will take away your right as our government, our local government, you will lose the right to create any local zoning about solar. You will lose it. And we don't want that to happen to you. So really, again, time is of the essence. I could not attempt, and I will not attempt to tell you what you should do, what the zoning should be, what the law should be, I do not know. But I did find some cleverly framed local laws that I just wanted to tell you about. Mary Ellen Adams mentioned one at the last town board meeting from the town of Ballston in Saratoga County, where they implemented a new zoning law that said we will allow an additional 150 acres of solar, but it must be in a commercial zone and it must be a rooftop installation. And I thought, wow, there you go, thinking outside the box. I mean, yeah, they're in compliance with all the rules, but they made it work for their community. Now, I don't think that would work for our town, but it does make one think. I found another one that was from a Western Massachusetts town, and I know that it's different, but it still puts in perspective what we need to be thinking about. Over there, they're much more faced with wind farms. They put in, like 2 different towns in Massachusetts put in setbacks. One was 3,000 feet. Another one was like 1 mile setback for a wind farm. And it's like, huh, okay. And you know, you think about it, you think about the news story that you've seen where one of these big turbines explodes. I mean, it's catastrophic. So not really a bad idea. Again, not for here, but just, you know, gets the wheels, the thought process turned. So my ask is that the town board and the building department and the zoning department and the engineers and the people that can take some action to create some kind of more local guidance for solar development, because as Ellen said, more is coming. I know that the grid is going to be, supposedly going to be full with this CBE project. And in their project application, they said, this is the last project. And I'm like, come on, how can you say that? And then we get a notice from, actually posted on the town website about a public meeting from the grid. National Grid's going to hold a public meeting at the community center about a new substation. It's a gas substation, but if they can build a new gas substation, they can build a new electric substation, and they will in time. And then our farm first community is going to be solar farm first community. I don't think that's what anybody really wants. And I'm not against solar, I'm not against renewable energy, but I am so strongly opposed to it in this particular location. So,
Okay.
thank you, and, you know, I won't, let me tell you what the tax loss would be. $4.7 million. If you have to go to the pilot.
Oh.
And they don't like the money part. So, you know.
They like the money part.
Well, thank you.
It's part of the business. Thank you. All right, anybody else? I know I get trouble without putting time limits, but if people want to come, I struggle cutting them off. Hi, Kim.
Hello, Kim Jensen, Roberts Drive, and I am here just to bring a proposal to you all to consider the development of an ethics board and an accompanying updated policy for the town. There's been several meetings over the past couple of years that I've attended where board members have mentioned how hurtful it is when members of the public make accusations about you guys doing your duties. And just last month, there was public discussion around outside activities of elected officials. And I would just suggest a board of ethics and an up-to-date, robust ethic policy that would go a long way to helping confirm for the public that the decisions and actions of this board are transparent and above reproach. I looked at the guidance that OSC offers, as well as the Association of Towns, and Grafton somewhat recently developed one in 2021. So there's a lot of legwork that's already done. And I believe it would just be a benefit to the town and the work that our elected officials do for us. So I would just hope that the board would consider the proposal and take action quickly to enshrine your commitment to transparency by creating a board of ethics and a policy that meets current best practices. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kim. All right, thank you. Anybody else at this point?
First, I wanted to say thank you so much, Mike, for getting back to me and making sure that the mowing situation of my bank and flowers is all set. I appreciate it.
Don't mow the flowers.
And I want to thank Kevin, that he's been great keeping track of the Murray's Views hours of building, and it's made a difference. Thank you. But that being said, they are still the bane of our existence. I believe when things are still going through the planning board, Emma Krieger had specifically asked if it was going to be an issue with trucks and things like that on Mohawk Avenue interfering with our day-to-day life and traffic going through, and everyone had assured him and all of us that it would not be. We have trucks blocking Mohawk Avenue or stopping in the right or left lane for extended periods. I can't tell you the number of times I've come home from work or the grocery store or whatever, and I can't even turn up into Mohawk Avenue because there's a large dump truck or other construction vehicle sitting waiting to turn, usually right out of the bottom of Mohawk. But I mean, it is so wide that there, and now we have the fence and everything up. There's literally not room for one of us trying to get back to our home. Yeah, and so again, they're sitting out there, and it's like I feel like I'm waiting in traffic on my own street because I'm trying to get by, and I have to wait until one of them moves enough to be able to fit around them. And again, you have also repeated that there's plenty of room for this to turn into this extra outlet from the business. Our street is a car and a half wide. By no means is it 2 cars wide. We really can just make it when we do have a neighbor coming down one side and up the other. And again, somebody has a big pickup truck, somebody comes with any kind of tractor trailer, like there's not going to be any passing, any in and out. It's a neighborhood street. It is not a commercial street. Despite what it was changed to be. I've even had to call Del Signor to have trucks move off of my property, which is just frustrating. Like, you already don't want all this stuff here, and I have to monitor that as well. And Del Signor has been great that I called the office there, and they get in touch with somebody to move it, but it's just like, should I have to do that on a regular basis? And again, this is just going back to reflect like all of this construction and development, and all of the newly added commercial zones along Physic Street. Like, I don't know if anyone understands the impact on the quality of life. I brought this to my daughter Ada, 7. She goes to school 18.
because of the numerous trucks and things that are in and out constantly, which is one of my other questions. I see that the property that was Donnie Hallett's still has the driveway open and then everything else is fenced off. And I can't see it from my house regularly, trucks utilizing that side, but everything comes in Mohawk Avenue, everything goes out Mohawk Avenue. Like, it is a free-for-all down there. That was Ada's bus stop. And starting this fall, I have been in touch with the transportation department for the school buses. I have talked to the principal at School 18. There's no other way for her bus to, like, they can't get the bus up the street because in the winter they say it's too dangerous. And I'm not gonna let her get on and off the bus with all of those vehicles there. And honestly, even without the vehicles there, Hoosick Street is like the scariest place to watch her get off the bus. We see on a daily basis, at least one car, if not four, would drive past the stop school bus sign. Some would even, when they did stop, cars would drive into the turning lane to get around them, closer to the bus to get by. So I just another example of how all of these little things affect every aspect of our life. Now she won't be able to ride her school bus anymore because there's no other option. They won't come up to our driveway to pick her up. And sadly, that's what they were trying to say, oh, when the construction is over, we can talk and then we can make different arrangements. And I said, no, because we're going to have the opening that everyone insists is necessary onto Mohawk Avenue. So again, I bring up that stinking gate that I know must sound like just the repetition coming out, but I don't see how 8 variances can be passed on behalf of Quick Check. And one major compromise that would make my family for sure and the rest of our neighborhood beyond happy why that is so out of reach. And the last thing I wanted to point out was just, Mr. Henderson, you just said the rolling hills of Brunswick are so beautiful. Parts of Brunswick are so beautiful, and that's why I'm so glad to live here. But it just breaks my heart that I get that we have to have construction and development. I hate that by living next to Hoosick Street, it makes me feel like those of us in that location don't matter anymore. We've agreed that that's going to be the business district, so it doesn't matter what our front yards, our neighborhoods look like anymore. And Ada wanted to come up with me. I have some pictures to give you just if you wanted to see. I have a beautiful picture of our view out from Mohawk Avenue now. It had that gigantic pile of dirt and debris and whatever, and tires and all kinds of junk that have been there for a very long time. I don't know. Would you like to see this when you look out your front door? And then I took some pictures of just this truck was one of the super wide ones that is over the center line, just like the fact that he's over to the side of the road. Just, this clearly does not belong on our neighborhood street passing by. And here's just some of the other trucks. They just pull out and are hanging out on Mohawk Avenue. I mean, you can get by those, thank goodness, as long as one car is only trying to pass. But I mean, they're parked there. They're not pulling out when I took this picture. Just on my way to work in the morning, and they were there in the way. So I'll just give those to Mr. Sipperly in case you guys would like to see them up closer. And Ada just wanted to take a minute quick. You still want to read it yourself?
You're drawing?
You want to do it? Yeah. She wrote you a letter. Do you want to read it? You want me to read it? Okay. She said, my mom has worked hard and asked for help and no one has given her any. It's very sad to see all the traffic down there. It used to be beautiful homes, but now it's just construction. And then I am sad I can't ride on my bus anymore because of the trucks.
And I can't see some of the
And I won't be able to see two of my best friends anymore because that was the time that they got to be together, was on the school bus. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you, young lady. Okay. Anybody else at this point?
Good evening, my name is Karen Beth Bruno, who next from Brunswick. I'm sorry that I'm not wearing a green t-shirt. Ellen, thank you for everything you're doing and your team. I'm so impressed with this group and what they're teaching all of us, and I hope we're all paying attention. I'd like to ask that we go back to the original agenda format where the public comment period was at the beginning, so that public may comment on agenda items. That being said, I'd like to thank Mr. Balistreri and his safety committee for for working on the district, the ambulance district, and thanking everybody for making that move forward. I'd also like to thank you for approving the resolution tonight to save the Dunham, another worthy cause. I would like to mention and stress to you the importance of our traffic issue. I want to thank the Rensselaer County Legislature for elevating the conversation, putting forth a resolution asking for the DOT to take action and move forward with our traffic issues. This is also a call for Brunswick to take action. It's actually a screen. We have, our own problem has elevated to Rensselaer County. There are roads within our town that are impacted by the traffic on Hoosick Road, in particular North Lake Avenue, where I live. I want to make sure that it's understood because I feel it's, people are being misled. There was a request to halt new development, not to halt development, but new development. And that only makes sense when there's so many empty storefronts here on Hoosick Road. Right now, there's 12 empty storefronts. Family Footwear is going to close. They're closing due to lack of business. There are things that we can bring into our town with the help of the Chamber of Commerce. We could look to get the restaurant that everyone's asking for. We don't need the fast food. In fact, all the traffic on Hoosick Street is being diverted from the town locals to go over North Lake. So those people are not going to your fast food. They're on my road, and this is something that you do have the power to do because Brunswick controls what goes on either side of Route 7. And the buck has been pushed back to DOT, excuse. You have to take some action, please. You're going to see a resolution that was approved on Tuesday night. I know all the councilmen are getting copies. If you didn't get it already, you will. If you could piggyback on that. They want to hear from the town of Brunswick. I'm very appreciative of Rensselaer County taking charge, but this is a town problem that we have control of with our development, and the lack of action has precipitated this problem, only making it worse. There's been several articles this past weeks, regarding traffic and residents' concerns. I did my best to bring these to your attention. I made copies so you can take them home and read them. Everybody should be aware of anything that's happening here in our town. I hope that you're able to do that, but I know you have other jobs. And the articles actually are even from Vermont, state of Vermont, because Route 7, how many travelers there are through Hoosick Road, but they're the ones I'm seeing on Hoosick Road. They're the ones that are not at our Burger King. So I'm going to share these articles with you. Please take the time to look at it. Please take advantage of this great, huge opportunity that Rensselaer County is taking the lead on this. And it's time for Brunswick to jump on board. There are things that we can do by holding off on new development. We're not going to lose any taxes. We're going to maintain the correct tax base, which is very healthy. Mr. Polito reported that. We're asking for people to come together, all levels of government, to discuss the problem, see what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. I did have public access in the beginning and the end, but as you can see, my problem was, it was so long. It was an hour before I got to the meeting and then in the end. So I thought if I put it toward the end, people could listen to the reports and then comment, so. Wow.
Hi, Sue White Jones, 10 Miller Road. So my question is about the National Grid natural gas substation that's going to be built.
It's not a substation.
Well, that's what they told me when I spoke to them.
Okay.
So my question is, I know there's a public meeting next week, the 27th, in 2 weeks, where we'll get more information about that.
Yeah.
So my information came from the National Grid people, and they're standing on my street in front of my house, after having been up in the field and had environmental surveys done to the ground. So that's where I got my information from. They told me natural gas substation. So that's where that information came. My question for the town is, I don't know if you know the details because this is National Grid, but what is the town's role? Is this something the planning board has to approve? Does the town have to approve this, or is this something because it's a utility that there is no say by the town? There's no input. I mean, there's obviously safety concerns, security concerns, building concerns, you know. This is gonna be against my yard, part of it, depending on how big it is. So I'm just, what is the town's role in this project?
You want to get involved with that, David?
I do, but I don't really know. This is the first time hearing about it, but I want to research it and try to get back to people. When is this hearing?
The 27th, it's at the,
Keys Lane, it's like
Keys
a
Lane,
question and answer type.
it's a public
And
forum.
where are they putting it?
They're putting it on a piece of property that goes from Spring Ave to Menemsha. It's really, my street is Miller Road, which is a dead-end road, and the field starts with, for me, starts there and goes up through Menemsha. It also goes to where the power lines and the natural gas line runs across up through the town. You know where Moxie's is? Not far from Moxie's, you'll see a big power line, and there's a natural gas line in the ground underneath that. And so this property is next to where that natural gas line. So they told me that this, because it's close to the gas line, that they were looking to, just what it said in the flyer is what they told me, that they need to increase the amount of natural gas available to the community, especially in the winter months. Because there's been so much building, housing development, that they need to increase the flow of natural gas. And so I'm just wondering what the town's role is in this project.
Yeah, I don't know if it's up, I'll check and see what kind of, they're a utility, that doesn't mean they're immune, but I don't know what they're planning, but I can find out, see what they're planning is on.
I know they do.
Kevin's here, maybe Kevin, I don't want to throw it to you.
No, I don't expect answers tonight, but I just think I want to know down the road what the town's role is in this, as far as approval, safety, community. I mean, they drilled 60 or 90 holes, several feet deep. This is what the environmental drilling company told me. And they send it off to the engineers, and then National Grid takes this information, and they create a site plan for this to see if the ground is appropriate for the building and the construction they need to do. This is all information that I was told to by the guys from National Grid standing in my yard in the environmental drilling company. So just questions that make you aware of what I know and let you research that.
Okay.
Okay?
Anybody else? Jim? Anybody else?
Have an invitation?
Sure.
Well, I'm sure you got something.
You started to stand up a couple times,
Yeah,
and
it's
gave
got-
the ladies a chance to speak, so I figured maybe.
Yeah, Jim Tatchik, Brunswick Road. I just had a couple comments about the Hoosick Road corridor study, and then also the public forum that the county legislature had last week. I think the town is ignoring some of the significant parts of the study, mainly the improvements to the infrastructure, pedestrian safety, and walkability in the town. This plan is explicitly outlined in the Hoosick Road corridor on page 40. With the description and the map here, and that is the goal of this that part of the project was to ensure that a safe walkway from Hoosick Road down all the Chesney Avenue extension down to Highland Creek. Right? And then, in a large part, much of this work is already done. Right? There's a pedestrian pathway on an extended shoulder on the road from the back entrance of Walmart to about the Rouse Apartments. And then there's a provision for that path to carry on from Rouse down to Highland Creek. And, but the difficult part of this is going to be in about 400-yard section from Walmart to Hoosick Road. Right? Because currently the pedestrians are forced to walk in a really narrow shoulder. The shoulder there is only about this wide, about 1.5 to 2 feet wide. And that road has a limited sight distance. You've got the curve and the dip there. You just can't be seen. Okay? So we have to get a safe walkway from the Walmart rear entrance up to Hoosick Road. Okay. Now it's been probably one of the reasons I brought this up now is there's sort of a deadline for this work to be done because the intersection of the Chesney and Hoosick Road, they're going to reconfigure that. They quite possibly are going to make it wide. They're going to widen McChesney. And by doing that, you might be taking all the right-of-way so that there's not a room for a sidewalk or a pathway to go up that area. Okay. So the provisions for this walkway needs to be done before this work is done. Before this work is literally cast in concrete, because once it's cast in concrete and asphalt, it's never gonna happen. Okay? Now,
Jim, can I just, is this a sidewalk along Route 7? I'm trying to visualize it. You're talking about a sidewalk along Route 7 or some town?
There's an existing sidewalk along Route 7, yes.
If we do a sidewalk, I just spent 2 hours yesterday with DOT people talking about sidewalks. I'm just gonna tell you what I learned, which is that there are a lot of rules about sidewalks, specifically about making handicap accessible. And it's got to be, because I understand 5 feet wide. You're talking about a fairly substantial range. In other words, what you're describing to me is a fairly narrow walkway, so that if you put sidewalk, I mean, I'm not getting putting sidewalks, they're great, but you may run into some other issues, particularly because of kind of some bottlenecks. I just throw that out.
But
the other thing is, I think if it's a state highway, we'd have to, work with if that was going to be done, we'd have to work very closely with DOT. And it's a very involved process. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying, you're trying to get it done, but
Well, this project, this part of the project is not on the state right of way.
Yeah, if
This
it's
is
not, if it's not on state land, you don't have a problem.
Okay.
State right of way. you don't
And
have
this
a
is, well, now the other,
But if you're building sidewalks along state highway.
He's talking McChesney.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Mr. Hamlin.
okay.
All right, and this, the other difficulty we have to work around is that McChesney Avenue, an extension, belongs to the county. All right, I think we need to get the county to become an active partner in this, okay? And then I'd just like to mention that I went and participated in the public forum that the county ran. And I was actually quite, for me, I'm always
Oh, you
pessimistic
made it
about
onto
things.
the TV. You made it on TV.
I saw you on TV.
Oh, yeah, it's on.
Okay, but I'm quite often pessimistic about things. But coming out of that meeting, I was very optimistic that we can build a cooperative venture here. You know, I talked to Mr. Casals and Mr. Maloney, and they were quite receptive about this, about the county participating in this walkway. It doesn't necessarily have to have, you don't necessarily have to have a sidewalk per se, because, for example, the walkways that exist now are, I would say, probably adequate for that road. Okay, but you have to have a way to get to Housing. Like I said, I talked to Mr. Casal, Mr. Maloney. I didn't have a chance to talk to Mr. Harrington, the leader of the legislature. And I was hoping that Mr. Harrington's brother, the supervisor, could talk to him and maybe help the project along a little bit. Okay? And then a couple of questions I had. What actions have been taken so far to develop this, to fill out, we have a good piece of the infrastructure in there. Has anything been done, to take this a little bit further? Is there anything planned in the near future to do this? And is there any possibility of trying to make meaningful connections with the county on this? So we can move this forward in a sensible manner. Okay? I guess just have to, question is, I guess, who do we have to convince to get this done?
We're taking notes.
Like,
It's
I mean,
a county road, so we
Right.
gotta
But I
keep
mean,
pushing this.
a lot of this is gonna be maybe just personal interactions and persuasion. Okay, thank you very much.
I've been trying out years with my brother, he doesn't work for the farm. Might be receptive to that, so. Uh-oh,
Yes.
what's up?
Any sidewalks that are built in the town is responsible for liability and maintenance. And, the board knew that, so as you're considering this, the small amount to build them is not the big part of the expense.
I mean, I don't know.
Maintaining that, and that includes along the state road and the county road, the town owns responsibility.
One more thing.
Come on up.
So Tuesday night,
Oh,
I went to.
Grab that microphone now.
Tuesday night, I went to the legislative meeting. I couldn't stay for the whole thing. But I was there for all the resolutions. And there was a resolution for your farm, congratulating your farm.
And I missed it.
And a tremendous award. I certainly don't know enough about farming to be able to talk about it, but your brother and family were very moved. Had to do with the quality of the grain that you grow and how well it helps the cows to produce milk. That's the best I can do. I'm not a farmer. But I just wanted to mention that. It sounded like it was a great recognition, national recognition for your farm. So
Thank you
just
so
wanted to
much.
mention that.
I had a high school classmate that lives in Ohio, came up to visit, and I haven't seen him. I made dinner reservations that night, not knowing that they're gonna honor the farm, so. My brother's still yelling at me, he said, should have brought him, but meantime, it's hard. No, it was, not to get into it, it was extreme honor. I'll get into it a little bit now. My nephew, Jason, who we lost, handled the crops, all the field work and stuff. And there's a World Dairy Expo, just like the Super Bowl for farms in Wisconsin. It's a big fair, it's a big display, machinery, everything else. They have like a contest for best forage, meaning corn silage, especially. And these corn growers from Iowa and who do this for a living take it very serious. It's like growing pumpkins to them guys. They got like 5,000 acres of corn, and what they do is they take a 10-acre piece and they put a little fertilizer on it, and they sneak out at night and put a little bit more on it and try to get the corn variety. And we make a lot of milk at the farm. And my nephew had a tremendous talent, just growing good crops. Cargill, our feed company, one day came in and said, you know, the World Dairy Expo is going on in Wisconsin. And you guys make good corn. And we've got the storage that we made last year. We put in trenches and pack it down. He said, you mind if I go out and take a sample out of a trench out in the field and send it to Wisconsin? So we get crazy. Nobody from Northeast, Northern or whatever, New York, no one from New York competes with the big corn growers. So he went out and took 2 samples, 2 different types of corn that people have, put in a bag, shipped it out. About 4 days later, Cargill feed salesman called my nephew and said, there's a plane ticket down to Albany, get down here. So what are you talking about? I said, you're in the top 10. I mean, that's impossible. We got here, of course, Cargill with our feed people, and right away the feed company takes credit for it. People that New Holland were buying machineries because we use their chopper. And the corn that we bought was because we use their corn. So Jason flew down there, and they go through protein, energy, trace minerals, fiber, all of these big parameters. The guy turned kind of white down there and says, Harrington won both corn contests, both of them. He said, we can't give 2 blue ribbons to some New York farmer. I mean, you gotta get a red here, you know? So that was a big deal, and Farm National magazines did that. It was just amazing, because just went out and took it out of her bunk, you know? But it was just a testimonial for my nephew, pretty moving, so thank you for bringing that up. Really. it was nice, pretty nice. Well, it's got $2,500 out of it, so. I think he spent that when he was down there, I'm not sure. All right. Then we had a big photo op with New Holland. They came and they sold us this $1 million chopper, but we bought it for like $700,000. And they put decals, you know, forage winner using New Holland. All of a sudden, because of the choppers, that everything was fine, you know. So super honored. So, okay, anybody else at this point? All right, before we adjourn, I think we've got a great staff. I know we got a great staff here, and I just want to acknowledge. It's important to me. Our deputy town clerk, Cheryl Roberts, as many people know, our town clerk, Rebecca Del Pedro, she's accepted a full-time job with New York State, and she has decided to work remotely as a town clerk. What I've seen here that I'm really impressed, and Cheryl's going to kill me if you don't know anything about this, she wants low key. Rebecca will tell you that. This deputy has really stepped up. And I've seen 3-4 people in line. She's just even keel. She's filling in quite well. I seen her for her lunch hour, pull the curtains, door down and start out, somebody's coming in. I think people are getting used to the lunch hour, but and she's going back in, but she's going out of her way. And I know I see the other night Rebecca came in at 4:30 after her work with state, I don't know. But Cheryl was still here, and then I went down at 6:30 on the Walgreens, and both Cheryl and Rebecca was coming out of the building. So Cheryl, just a deputy stepping up, and that's what we have in this office, in this facility. Our assessor, she went on vacation, her deputy stepped up, doing all kinds of things. Kevin will tell you Wendy in there. I mean, the second the people in the backup, they just step up here and everything runs pretty smooth. So I just want to acknowledge Cheryl. And again, she's gonna kill me because she's not, she enjoys working and she doesn't like that. All right, anybody else at this point? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
We did? All right.
We paid our bills.
Okay.
Yeah, we paid the bill, don't worry. All your parts have been paid for.
We're good for you.
I'll second the motion to adjourn, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
I was paying attention, I guess
When is the vote moves? Oh, next week?
No. Yeah, it's all blurry.
I just had a question when I got out.
It's okay. I do it all the time. And the harder you're trying to think of it, the farther you
Seems like
get.
in the car.